Boy, did the districts deliver. The districts playoffs lived up to the billing here in South Florida, and I was there to see a lot of the action, and that's going to be the focus of today. And we're going to kind of get into also the regionals coming up. We'll highlight some of the big matchups and talk about that. But first, yes, welcome to the Curtain Call podcast. Recording this on Easter Sunday, so happy Easter to all who celebrate. Happy weekend to everybody. And boy, what a really fun time it is for the high school playoffs. The districts, if the regionals are any indication, districts really teed it up. So really good baseball is ahead, and here in South Florida, and we got you covered with all of it. Let's handle some of the general housekeeping here. Please like, subscribe to the channel. We're pushing 1.4 million views for the month of April. That's going to be our best month. Target over 2 million. We're going to get that. So thanks to everybody who is supporting the channel, watching everything, having a great time out there at the field, seeing a lot of baseball and a lot of really good baseball. But again, as the t-shirt even says, please don't forget to like and subscribe. So that keeps this thing all moving. But let's keep this thing moving too, and jump right into probably the game that I was looking forward to most in the week was anticipating that Chaminade Madonna would play NSU University School in the title game in their Class 2A district. And boy, hats off to Chaminade. They they were really tested. Their pitching, certainly. They went first game against Hialeah Educational Academy. They went 17 innings, folks. That was about a 5-hour game. It was the afternoon game that ended about 8:30-ish at night, started about 3:30. Won 2-1 to the Lions, 17 innings. Like I said, John Bishop, the hero of that game. John comes through with the game-winning hit. And as fate has it, the 2 nights later in the title game, once again, that guy, John Bishop, comes up in the 8th inning against U School, and John Bishop delivers the game-winning hit. So got the video of this. Hope it's teed up. But here is John Bishop. Don't stall on me. This is let's get this thing going. Hopefully it's working. The videos are a little bit longer. They're being a little slower today. So, but that was John Bishop with the game-winning hit. We'll mess with it. I'll kind of keep it teed up here and see if we can get this thing going. With John's replay here. Hopefully I can get it going there. But anyway, we'll talk about the game with a little technical difficulties aside. Yeah, again, Chaminade just finding a way. They're obviously a very resilient team. The pitching outstanding. 1 run in 25 innings total in that district tournament in their 2 games. They first, like I said, they beat Hialeah Educational. Bishop comes up in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Josh Andell, who kind of got the 2-out rally going with a base hit. And then Miguel Roa, the number 3 hitter, he draws a walk, putting first and second, setting it up for John Bishop's game-winning hit. And again, here we go. We got John Bishop going. Here it is. John Bishop gets to hit to right field, throw home. Josh Andell scores, and everyone gets all excited. And let's get it from the beginning. John just has that knack. He's one of those gamers, guy who just gets the job done. You can see he didn't try to do too much with that pitch. He just basically just chopped it on the ground through the hole into right field. But that's just not trying to do too much. That's not letting the moment get too big. Good base running. And in full disclosure, because this game, I have so many videos on my phone. I'm recording all this stuff. I saved most of these files on I got various disks to save this stuff, but this literally right there where you see him celebrating, I ran out of storage. So had this game gone any longer or one pitch, I would have missed this video. So let's enjoy it one more time. John Bishop there. Andell, getting waved in. You got to send them with 2 outs. You got to go for it, make them make a play. And we know we know U School is capable of making a play at the plate. They earlier in the game they had a big moment where they threw a runner out at home. I got video of that because I did want to break that play down. And let's hope this is working as well. Let's shoot this from the top. This is the sixth inning, folks. It's tie game, and Trace Zalman's up, bottom of the sixth, singles to center. Braden Potter makes the throw. Great play by catcher Griffin Pomper, tagging out the pinch runner, who was Nolan Lunem. And let's look at it again because I had some of my buddy Spencer Krasner. He comes up to me thinking that Griffin Pomper was blocking the plate, but clearly you could see all he has to do is give him a lane, and you see Pomp right there. He sets up in front of the bag. The throw is going to carry him in. You see Nolan's rounding third, but you even see the umpire there just, kind of lining it all up. Sees he does have a lane. Great throw by Potter, and boom. And that's a great defensive play. It's actually a good slide. Everyone did their job. It's just a really good baseball play. 0-0 game, like I said, in the bottom of the sixth inning. Chaminade's the top seed. That's why they were the home team, even though they're playing at U School's field. And again, that's a big-time play by Griffin Pomper to make that tag. Big-time throw in center by Braden Potter to give him a ball he could handle. And the runner, he went to the area where make the tag the hardest for the catcher to the back end. Not really much he could do differently. Just a great baseball play. And like I said, that's the stuff that gets you kind of excited about the level of play that these kids play. Let's watch it one more time because this is a really good video. I really enjoy this one. It's a really good highlight. And I like seeing good baseball plays. You see Mark Manuel's backing up home. Everyone's doing their job on this play. And again, one more time. Boom. That's bang, bang. I did break it down. It does look close. I think you could probably try to make the argument that he got in there. But I think, once I kind of, really zeroed in on that play, the tag was made and he was out. Again, so the great job by the umpire to get that call right as well. And those are the types of plays. Those are big-time plays made by high school players. Now, granted, many of these players are going to be college players, but you could just see the margin of victory and defeat is very, very slim, and that was really reflected in that 2A District 14 tournament, which was a really good district throughout. I can give you a little background on how I kind of set that up. The first day, that Tuesday, that 17-inning game, I was kind of weighing to which day game I was going to go to. I could go to American Heritage and watch Somerset play against Matter Academy, I believe, or that was a 4:00 game, or 3:30 at U School, where there's no shade and where I video it. It's just a complete sun field. That angle I got on the play at the plate, if I tried shooting that at 3:30, I'd be blinded, and that video wouldn't look like anything. So I decided to go to Heritage. And because they got their field, they got a building there. It's a lot easier to film there. So I saw that 4:00 game, knowing that on Thursday I was going to go to U School to watch the Chaminade U School. Assuming you can't always assume because these games are very close, but that was how I had it planned. But because that game went 17 innings, I had people texting me. I had parents at Heritage who have Game Changer were telling me they're in the 14th inning, the 15th. Before I know it, the night game where Heritage took care of American High School 16-0, beat them in 4 innings. So Heritage had taken care of business, and that game 1 over at U School wasn't over yet. The Chaminade game was still being played, so I decided to head over to Chaminade. I drove over there, and on my ride there, I got word that Chaminade had walked it off. So I got to Chaminade, to the Chaminade game, interviewed Mark McCoy, the coach, afterward, and just stayed around for the entire U School game against who did they play? Drawing a blank here. Oh, Florida Christian, and that was a really good game as well. And that was a fun game, and that one Florida Christian has a pitcher named Steven Gonzalez who went 5 innings, had 9 strikeouts. I just put a video this morning up of Steven, low 90s fastball, really good looking pitcher for them. Matthew Greenberg pitched that game for U School. He had 6 innings, 5 Ks. I think it was like one unearned run or something like that. And I got to give a praise to Mark Manuel of U School. He's played at a high level. Pitched like 3 innings in that 8 inning game, and hitting and pitching, he's doing really, really good job. And great job there by U School. They come up short in the championship game. Want to give a hat tip also to Chaminade. Obviously, 1 run from a pitching staff in 25 innings is just unheard of. In that 17-inning game, Jake Crothers and John Bishop each had 4 hits. Spencer Krasner had 9 strikeouts in 6 innings that game. And a little hat tip to Jeremiah Acosta from Hialeah Educational, who went 7 innings, didn't allow an earned run. So obviously, some of these schools that are used to scoring a lot of runs in the regular season, you could see that pitching really, really steps up in the postseason. Districts were that way. I don't know if I mentioned his name, but I thought Aiden Jacobs of U School in the championship game did really well. He went 5 innings, as did Chaminade starter Santi Arismendi. He did a really fine job as well. And again, it's like you get these scoring chances. It's those who are executing. And you could see the execution. Sometimes it's just that game of inches where that ground ball finds the hole instead of the defensive player making the play. But both those teams are moving on to regional. We'll talk about regional a little bit, but I just want to kind of hit on that. Then I'm going to jump over now to 7A because I was up at Taravella watching that district. I think it was 13. But 7A, Stoneman Douglas wins that again. They won, 20 straight districts or something ridiculous. But it was a really close. That's another one where pitching stands up, and as many runs as Douglas can score, they won the title game. 1-0 over Western. But let's talk about Douglas first, and I just want to kind of hit on them. In game 1, they beat Coral Glades 6-0, scored 4 runs in the first inning. So keep that in mind. Douglas had like 4 runs in the first inning, wins that game 6-0. And the story of that day was Daniel Tartaglia, unbelievable. He almost pitched a perfect game. Daniel had Coral Glades. I think he struck out the first 5, struck out 9 of the first 10. Then all of a sudden, he had a 4-run lead, and he's just kind of pounding the zone, throwing strikes, mixing speeds, working really well with catcher Drew Freeman, who does an outstanding, as good as anybody in the state, and Louisville commit Drew catching and just running the pitching, controlling the pitching game and doing so much behind the plate that there's no one really better down here than Drew Freeman. But Daniel, he heads into the 7th inning with 16 strikeouts and had not allowed a base runner. And then Coral Glades is Caleb Conard had other ideas. First batter, I think it was the 3rd pitch. He bounces the ball up the middle. It just gets by Daniel and just kind of dribbles into center field for the lone hit, the lone base runner that Coral Glades will get that day in that inning. Yeah, the whole game, obviously. And then Daniel strikes out 2 other guys in the inning. So Daniel Tartaglia finishes that game with 18 strikeouts. He throws a shutout, obviously a 1-hit shutout, no walks, no hit batters, nothing else. It was as clean a game as you would see, and that was a real fun game to watch. I think Michael Osenford, Whitey had 3 hits in that game, but that was a remarkable game, and we have to give a big hat tip to Daniel for his performance. And what does that do? The complete game, obviously, it saves bullpens, which, preserving your pitching is as key as anything right now for these teams, as they, because now the regionals are going to go to best 2 of the 3. So there's going to be 3 rounds of regionals, and then the state championships, the semifinals and finals. 1 game will determine it. But so pitching is huge. How you manage your pitching is going to be really huge. Let's take it to the championship game. First, let's talk about the other game. where West was playing really well right now after having kind of a bumpy season. They went and Taravella was the higher seed, and they were the home. They're playing on their home field. So in that first game, it was 2-0. Again, Jimmy Heward pitched really well for Western. I think he had 10 strikeouts and in like 6 innings. And, Anthony Tisle pitched really well for Taravella. And, so that game went 2-0 to Western, setting Western up to play in the championship game on last Thursday against Stoneman Douglas. Gio Rojas on the mound, 8 strikeouts in six shutout innings. Gio being Gio. But I really want to give a hat tip to Mason McGeehan, the pitcher for the starter that day for Western. Mason Jr., class of 26, USF, South Florida. Here's him throwing an amazing changeup to get the strikeout to end the inning. I thought that was the best I've seen Mason maybe ever. He gave up like one unearned run, but he was just the way he managed that game, the way even working with catcher Jorge Falangón, Gordo, they were so in sync. The changeup right there, he had his slider and curveball going, and then would mix in that fastball. Just completely kept the Douglas hitters off guard. And that was just a really good high school baseball game with Gio and Mason just going back and forth, putting up zeros. And strangely, sadly for Western, the only run of the game was scored in a wild pitch. Maybe they called it a pass ball, but whatever you wanted to call it, it was just one errant pitch that with a runner on third. There was no real RBIs in this game. But again, if that's a big time changer, let's look at it again. I have this up on the site, and I even did a slow motion of that to really kind of see the spin and just kind of the look for the hitter as that right-handed hitter. That ball just kind of tails and disappears down and away. That's even if you hit that ball, you're not really going to do much on it unless you completely lined it up, and probably best to, think the other way, opposite field there. But that's just great execution. And this is what we're liking, what we're seeing from these kids is just, the quality of knowing that every pitch matters, every little play in the field matters. The guys are playing at a high level. Miguel Tapia had 2 hits in that game. I think both off Gio, which really good at bats by Miggy, swinging the bat well for Western. But the key for Western as they move on, they're going to have to hit. They're going to have to hit. They're going to have to score some runs. You got Jimmy Heward pitching at a high level and Mason McGeehan pitching at a high level. They're just going to have to get them they'll get to find a way, scratch out some runs. Douglas, we know how good their pitching is. Braylon Courtney, he got the save in the championship game, went 1 inning and did a good job. I think he had some traffic, but he was able to minimize and not minimize because he got out of it, didn't give up anything in terms of runs. But Courtney, really good. And, that's going to be, pitching's going to have to be key. And, Douglas is going to have to, just kind of capitalize. Obviously, in these games, scoring first really helps. If you really magnify, you put the pressure on the other team, you run into a hot pitcher with a lead. Like Jack McKeon, when I covered the Marlins with Jack as manager, he always would play for that run in the first because he said, I get that 1 run, they got to get 2 to beat me. So, he would have that philosophy. So let's jump on over to 4A. Because I was at American Heritage, I saw them play. Like I was saying earlier, in that 4A semifinals. I didn't go to the championship game. That was Thursday. I went and saw, like I said, Chaminade against U School. But Heritage took care of business in that game. One, not too much drama for the Patriots. They had American beat them 16-0 in 4 innings. You rarely see that 15-run rule apply for a 4-inning game. So they were able to really, kind of saved their bullpen, gave Mark Aliman plenty of run support. My guy, the big football player, sophomore Nico Ramos, offensive lineman, he gets a pinch hit opportunity in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Sees one pitch. Almost didn't get the camera clicking fast enough. Took that pitch into the football practice field for a grand slam. So good job by Nico Ramos to do that. Like I said, Mark threw well. and so it's going to be interesting to see what American Heritage does in 4A. They're the top seed in the regional. But Talon Holiday in the championship game, Talon missed a lot of time before the playoffs, dealing with like a lower body leg-ish, in the leg hip area, dealing with an ailment, and that flared up on him. So Talon only went 1/3 of an inning through, I think, 10 pitches total. So the key for Heritage is, they're good chance they'll be without their ace. So Caden Garrow came in through 3 2/3 innings against Somerset in the championship game. They beat Somerset 7-2. But moving forward, it's going to be really key for the Patriots how they handle their pitching. They got a lot of good arms, but Talon Holiday is a North Carolina commit. As a sophomore, he is winning the state championship, pitching a lot of meaningful innings. As a junior, he pitched in the state title game. They didn't win that game against Jesuit, and now if Talon's not able to go, that's a real blow for Heritage. But they're gonna. I wonder. They don't really have that 5-6 inning guy, but they may have to kind of piece together maybe some 3 innings at a time, try to not overexpose pitchers and kind of just rotation. And the onus is going to fall on the Patriots hitters. They got a good lineup, but as noted, runs get a little more scarce and against some really good pitching here in the postseason. But Jordan Rich, I've been on record saying I think he's been the best position player in Broward County this year, and he's showing that in the districts as well. I could have shown one of his triples, but I can put Jordan Rich highlights up all the time, and I want to kind of spread it around. So Dylan Dubovic as a pitcher, and he's going to have to throw probably a few more innings than maybe he thought. But at the plate, Dylan's a force. Obviously, the University of Miami commit. To see how Dylan does, but Joey Castro. RJ Machado, Chris Levy, a lot of these guys, Sebastian Garavito, they top to bottom, they got Hayden Harrison's, Blade Caballero. They got top to bottom, they got a really good lineup. So, Zach Wilson hit ninth. That's a pretty good 9-hole hitter. And, like I said, Hayden Harrison, he power from the right side. I think he homered in the championship game. So hats off to Hayden for that one. But again, I think for Heritage, the road's going to be get these guys some runs and, try to play really good defense and, get the pitching as much experience as possible. Mark Aliman will move up probably as the front guy to front the rotation in the regionals, which is going to be big. Didn't get out to see, now with this new district realignment, West Broward, now they're playing like the teams from the South as well as Cypress Bay. They won their district, beat Cypress Bay in the title game. Braden Ace Aguila went 7 innings with 7 strikeouts. Good job there by Ace and the Bobcats. Good chance we could see, West Broward. They'll probably have to go through Columbus down to Miami as if they want to play Douglas or the winner of the region. That's from our area. We got, in our region, we got in that bracket. I'll read the brackets, but in a bit we'll have Taravella and Western also in there. Didn't get a chance to see St. Thomas in 6A. That was a really good district as well. St. Thomas beats Flanagan 14-4 in the championship game. Josh Jennings with 4 hits. Zach Malvasio, I think, hit his 13th homer in that game. And hats off to Flanagan. That was a close game for a while, about 3 or 4 innings. Jose Mercano hit 2 homers in that game, in the title game. Miguel Comaneres and Caden Corzo each homered as well. So, Flanagan's pesky. St. Thomas is loaded. It's kind of a year that they're kind of, angling up with Doral to get the state. And that's going to be real interesting to see what goes on there in 6A. But I have a story up on the SB Live page. I'm going to kind of look at my phone and kind of give you folks the districts here about the regions as we're moving now on to the regionals. And just so people know, like I said, now the regionals are best 2 out of 3. I believe what they're going to do is games 1 and 2 will be at the highest seed. If there is a third game, there will be like a baked-in day off, and the third game would be at the lower seed. So it's kind of funny if you're the visiting team or the lower ranked team, you win one of those first 2 games, you're guaranteed home field for the decisive game. So it's not a 1-1-1 where you go back and forth. They built in that day off for rainouts and so forth. But this is what's going to happen now in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals of the regionals. So how teams manage their pitching is going to be really, really important. Another thing of note, Monday, on Monday, the classes 1 through 4A will play their first game on Monday. And so it'll be like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday if there's a game 3. The 5, 6, and 7As begin on Wednesday, April 23rd. Monday, April 21 for 1 through 4A. Wednesday, April 23rd, 5, 6, 7A. So what does that impact? As we go with 5A, 6A, 7A. We're going to start off as I do this. I'm basically just reading you the brackets, but please go on to the SB Live, which is high school on SI. It's Sports Illustrated's high school page. But I'll kind of read you the brackets. There's 7A, the brackets that apply to South Florida. Number 1 seed Stoneman Douglas against number 8 Cypress Bay. Get a pen if you want to follow along and not read me, but please read me. So that's on Wednesday the 23rd. Like I said, Douglas plays Cypress Bay. That's their opponent. And these are all on site. This is to the higher seed. These aren't, like in district, that district was up at Taravella. This game is at Stoneman Douglas. Then you got the 4 seed is Taravella. They will host the 5 seed Western. The 2 seed is Columbus. They'll host number 7 seed Ferguson. 3 seed is West Broward. They will host number 5 Southwest. That handles our 7A team. 6A. St. Thomas Aquinas, number 1 seed. They play at home against number 8. Again, this will be on Wednesday, the 23rd. Number 1 St. Thomas Aquinas will play number 8 Ida Baker. I guess that's a school, not a person. No disrespect to Ida Baker. I'm just having fun with your name of your school. Number 4 seed is Southridge, Miami against West Boca Raton, number 5 seed. Number 2 will be home Doral Academy against number 7 Flanagan. So Flanagan, the Falcons going to have a tough one there, but small ballpark. It'll be similar to like what they just played at St. Thomas. Number 3 seed will be Braddock against number 6 Nova. Nova gets in, and the Titans have had a good year. They're going to have to hit. They're going to have to see. They got a senior team, so we'll see if they could make that a series. So let's go down to 5A. We got Archbishop McCarthy from here is number 2 seed. Matter Academy Charter, not to confuse them with Matter Lakes. Matter Academy Charter, number 1 seed will play number 8 Atlantic. Number 4 Pembroke Pines Charter will be home on Wednesday, 23rd against number 5 South Fork. I may end up going to that game because I haven't seen Pines Charter in a while. And then number 2, Archbishop McCarthy will be hosting number 7 Heritage. That's not American Heritage, that's Heritage. Number 3 is Varela. Varela's got good pitching, as always. Number 6, they will play number 6 Okeechobee. So that's the 5A classification. Let's get down to 4A. Number 1 seed will be the American Heritage Patriots from Plantation. Will play number 8 Rockledge. Number 4 seed is Satellite. Will play number 5 Key West. Number 2 seed Merritt Island against number 7 Suncoast. Number 3 seed will be Ugali. Will face Belen, number 6 seed Belen Jesuit. 3A is going to be a lot of fun. That's another one. They're all going to be really. These regions are amazing. The number 1 seed is Miami Springs. I've had Miami Springs on and off in my state top 25 poll. They're currently out, but they are the number 1 seed. They will play number 8 seed I Matter Charter. Number 8. Number 4, Monsignor Pace will host Cardinal Gibbons. Gibbons it's been a rough year for defending champs. We'll see but Gibbons again, they got a lot of talent and they got some pitching, even though it's not been effective all the time. But don't count out Gibbons for making some noise here. Number 2 seed is Pinecrest. Will play number 7 seed Killian. Number 3 seed, and this is a team to really keep an eye on, Calvary Christian Academy. They're as hot as anybody right now. They play number 6 St. Brendan. And also worth noting, North Broward Prep, don't want to leave them out, but they're playing North. So they'll be playing like the Palm Beach schools and everything. They are the number 2 seed in their region, and they will face number 7 American Heritage Delray Beach in their regional quarterfinal. The 2A is going to be a bear as well. That's just all the way through state. That's going to be a tough classification. Cardinal Newman is the top seed. They will play number 8 seed Coral Shores. Number 4 is True North Classical Academy against number 5 St. John Paul II Academy. Number 2 Chaminade Madon against number 7 Westminster Christian from Miami. That's going to be an amazing series. The number 3 seed is NSU University against number 6 St. Andrews. The Sharks early in the year beat St. Andrews. They run ruled them, but then they lost to them later in the year. So that's going to be an interesting one. The Sharks are going to, they're going to go on. They're going to be the home. So we'll see how that goes for them. And then in the number 1 seed, number 1 classification, we got Schoolhouse Prep is the top seed, and they will play number 8. Berrien Christian. Number 4 is Brito. They'll play number 5 Masters Academy. Number 2 Miami Christian, which went to the state championship a year ago. The victors are under 500, but they're the number 2 seed based on strength of schedule. They play number 7 Atlantic Christian. Number 3 Jupiter Christian plays number 6 seed Highlands Christian. So that kind of does it. And so again, these regionals should be a lot of fun. The districts, like I said, the regionals or anything like the districts, we're going to be in for a really good time, and I'm anticipating it being that and more. Again, players, parents, enjoy the moment. This is a fun ride for these kids. They're really stepping up, and the teams, as I can't say it enough, the teams that execute, the teams that slow the game down are going to be the teams that move on. And just keep in mind, just because you do everything right doesn't mean the result's always going to end up your way. But that doesn't mean you change your process. So stick with that, guys. Don't, if you like what you're doing, even if you hit the ball hard and you get an out, and you don't get the result you want, stick with your approach. Don't take anything for granted, guys. I mean, there was an incident this week where and it cost a run, where with 2 outs on a 3rd strike, the catcher thought he didn't trap it, but I thought he did, but the umpire clearly thought he did, and he didn't throw down the first base. He just rolled the ball back to the mound, and they didn't say the inning was over. They didn't complete the out. So even if, don't take anything for granted. I've seen infield flies rule where players don't know the infield fly rule, or they think the umpire didn't call it. If you know the rule, execute and do the play. And then if the umpire says no, then you could just the coach will make the argument that's an infield fly situation. It should have been called. Or we had an incident in a game a few weeks ago where, with the bases loaded in a 3rd strike, trapped by the catcher, he stepped on home plate and came in, and the home plate umpire wasn't paying attention, didn't look at home plate. The umpires do, obviously, do your job. And wanted to say that the runner was safe at first, and everyone lost their mind. And fortunately, other umpires saw that the catcher indeed touched home. So execute all these things, especially 3rd outs of innings, or knowing something as whether you should touch a base or not, or throw to a base. So pay attention to all that, because some of that stuff, you don't want to be that team that has your season end because you lost on a technicality, not knowing the rules. So keep all that in mind. But that's just my little little bit of advice before we get out of here. Again, like, subscribe to the channel. It's been a lot of fun this week. It's been a lot of thanking everybody for the support. Just enjoy these moments and enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And we will catch everybody in the next video.